You keep thinking, you keep planning, you keep waiting for the perfect moment. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll start, tomorrow I'll change, tomorrow I'll become the person I know I can be. But tomorrow keeps moving further away. And while you are thinking about your life, someone else is out there building theirs. You don't need another plan. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to move. Because the truth is simple, thinking can prepare you, but only action can change you. Every time you overthink, fear gets stronger. Every time you delay, your confidence gets weaker. You already know what you need to do. You know the habit you need to break. You know the work you need to start. You know the risk you need to take. So why are you still standing there? Nobody is coming to save your future. Nobody is going to wake up and do the hard work for you. At some point, you have to stop making excuses and make a decision. Not next week, not tomorrow, now. Take the first step while you are afraid. Take the first step while you are uncertain. Take the first step before you feel ready. Because winners are not people who never feel fear. Winners are people who refuse to let fear make their decisions. Stop thinking about who you could become. Start becoming that person. Your life will not change because you thought about it harder. It will change when you finally move. Overthinking can quietly steal years from your life without you even realizing it. You keep telling yourself that you are preparing, that you are waiting for the right moment, that you just need a little more information before you begin. But sometimes preparation becomes nothing more than a comfortable excuse to avoid action. You think about starting the business, but you keep researching. You think about getting in shape, but you keep waiting for Monday. You think about changing your life, but you spend another night imagining what you will do instead of actually doing it. The problem is not that thinking is bad. Thinking is useful when it helps you make a decision. But when thinking becomes a constant loop, it becomes a trap. You analyze every possible outcome. You imagine everything that could go wrong. You worry about what people will say. You compare yourself to people who are already ahead of you. And while you are stuck inside your own head, time keeps moving. There will never be a moment when everything feels completely safe and certain. You will always have doubts. You will always have questions. You will always have something you could improve before taking the first step. At some point, you have to accept that uncertainty is part of the process. You learn by doing. You become stronger by facing problems. You build confidence by keeping promises to yourself. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. So stop giving every decision 100 reasons to wait. Make the decision, take the step, learn from what happens, and keep moving. Action is what turns an idea into something real. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you never act on it, that plan means nothing. You can spend hours watching videos, reading books, making lists, and imagining your future, but none of those things will move your life forward unless you eventually get up and do the work. A lot of people confuse preparation with progress. They feel productive because they are thinking about what they should do. They make perfect schedules, wait for the perfect opportunity, and tell themselves they're getting ready. But real progress is often messy. Your first attempt might be terrible. Your plan might fail. You might make mistakes you never expected. That is normal. When you take action, you get something that thinking alone can never give you: experience. You discover what works and what doesn't. You find your weaknesses. You learn how to solve problems. You become more comfortable with pressure. Every small action gives you information that you can use to make the next move better. Think about someone who wants to become physically strong. They can watch workout videos all day, buy the right clothes, plan their meals, and talk about their goals. But their body changes only when they actually train. The same thing applies to your career, your relationships, your skills, and your confidence. You don't need to know every step before you begin. You only need enough courage to take the next one. Start with what you have. Use what you know. Make the first move, even if it is small. Action creates momentum, and momentum makes the next step easier. Fear becomes much bigger when you keep feeding it with your thoughts. The longer you sit there imagining everything that could go wrong, the more powerful that fear begins to feel. A simple decision starts looking like a huge mountain. A small risk feels impossible. You convince yourself that you need more time, more money, more knowledge, or more confidence before you can move. But confidence rarely comes before action. Most of the time, confidence is built because you acted despite being afraid. Think about the first time you tried something difficult. Maybe you were nervous before starting. Maybe your hands were shaking, your mind was racing, and you kept asking yourself whether you were making the right choice. But once you finally started, something changed. The fear was still there, but it was no longer controlling every move you made. That is what happens when you take action. You stop allowing your imagination to control reality. You might fail. You might look foolish. Someone might criticize you. Things might not work the first time. But those experiences are not proof that you should stop. They are part of learning. Every mistake teaches you something that thinking alone never could. The real danger is not failure. The real danger is spending so much time being afraid of failure that you never give yourself a chance to succeed. Fear will always have something to say. It will tell you to wait until tomorrow, to stay comfortable, to avoid the risk. But you don't have to obey every thought that enters your mind. Sometimes you simply have to take a breath, accept the uncertainty, and make the move anyway. Stop asking for permission to change your life. You do not need everyone around you to understand your goals before you begin. You do not need your friends to agree with your decisions. You do not need strangers on the internet to tell you that you are capable. There comes a point when you have to trust yourself enough to make your own decisions. People will always have opinions. Some will tell you that your dream is unrealistic. Some will remind you of every mistake you have made. Others may feel uncomfortable when you start changing because your growth reminds them that they are standing still. If you allow every opinion to control your choices, you will spend your entire life trying to make other people comfortable. Think about how much time you have already spent waiting for approval. Maybe you wanted to start something, but you worried about what your family would say. Maybe you wanted to leave a situation that was holding you back, but you were afraid people would judge you. Maybe you wanted to become more disciplined, but you kept waiting until everyone around you supported the change. You cannot build a different life while constantly asking the same people for permission to become different. This does not mean ignoring good advice or refusing to listen. Learn from people who have experience. Accept honest criticism. But understand the difference between advice and permission. Advice can help you improve your direction. Permission can become an excuse for never moving. Your life is your responsibility. Your choices belong to you. At some point, you have to stop explaining what you want to do and start doing it. Let your actions speak louder than your plans, your excuses, and the opinions of everyone watching. Discipline is not about waiting until you feel motivated. It is about doing what needs to be done, even when your mind is giving you 100 reasons to stay comfortable. There will be mornings when you do not feel like getting up early. There will be days when the work feels boring, difficult, or exhausting. There will be moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. Those moments are where discipline matters most. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Anyone can stay focused when everything is going well. The real test comes when the excitement disappears, or when nobody is watching, when there is no applause, when you are tired and the results still have not appeared. That is when you have to make a choice. You can listen to the voice telling you to wait until tomorrow, or you can remind yourself why you started. You can choose comfort for another day, or you can choose the difficult action that moves you closer to the person you want to become. Discipline does not mean you never struggle. It means you stop allowing every temporary feeling to control your decisions. You can feel tired and still train. You can feel nervous and still make the call. You can feel unmotivated and still finish the work. The more often you keep promises to yourself, the stronger your self-respect becomes. You begin to trust yourself because you have evidence that you can depend on your own actions. You do not need to feel ready every morning. You need a standard that remains steady when your feelings change. Make the decision once, then keep showing up, especially on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Winning starts with one decision, not 100 decisions, not a perfect plan, and not some magical moment when everything suddenly becomes easy. Sometimes your entire direction changes because you finally decide that you are done living the same way. You decide to wake up earlier, stop wasting your time, take your work seriously, or walk away from habits that have been keeping you stuck. That decision may look small from the outside, but it can completely change the way you see yourself. Before that moment, you may have spent months telling yourself that you would change someday. After it, your actions begin to match your words. The important thing is understanding that a decision is only powerful when you follow it with action. Saying, "I'm going to change," feels good for a moment, but change begins when you get up and do something different. You train when you said you would train. You finish the work when you promised yourself you would finish it. You stop making excuses when the easy option appears. You do not have to transform your entire life in one day. Start with one decision and one action. Then repeat it tomorrow. Maybe nobody notices your first step. Maybe nobody congratulates you. That does not make it meaningless. Every time you act according to the person you want to become, you are building a new identity. And when you make enough of those decisions, your life begins to look different because your habits are different. The future you want is not created by wishing for it. It is created through the choices you make when nobody is forcing you to make them. Your future is being built by what you do today. Even if you cannot see the results yet, every choice you make leaves a mark. The hours you spend learning, the work you complete when nobody is watching, the habits you repeat, and even the distractions you allow into your life are shaping the person you will become. A lot of people think their future will suddenly change one day. They imagine that someday they will wake up motivated, focused, confident, and ready to take control. But that day does not simply appear. It is created through small decisions made over and over again. If you waste today, you are not only losing 24 hours, you are practicing the habit of wasting time. If you keep delaying difficult work, you are teaching yourself that discomfort should be avoided. But when you choose to work despite being tired, when you put your phone away and focus, when you keep a promise you made to yourself, you are building discipline. You may not notice the difference after one day, or you may not notice it after 1 week, but repeated actions eventually become habits, and habits eventually shape your life. Think about where you want to be a year from now. Stronger, smarter, more confident, more independent. Whatever that picture looks like, you cannot reach it by thinking about it every night. You have to start giving your future self something to work with. Use today. Make the call, start the project, learn the skill, train your body, fix the habit, have the difficult conversation. Take the step you have been delaying. Your future self is not created someday in the future. It is being created right now through the choices you make when nobody is forcing you to make them.